Hi students, today we are going to learn about the poem called Ode on Solitude by Alexander Pope. A short biography about Alexander Pope. Pope lived between May 1688 to May 1744. He is one of the greatest 18th century English poet. He is best known for his satirical verse and heroic couplet. And according to the Oxford Dictionary of Quotations, he is the second most frequently quoted writer. The first one is Shakespeare. His best known work is Rape of the Lock, which is a mock epic. Moving to the poem Ode on Solitude. Happy the man whose wish and care a few paternal acres bound, content to breathe his native air in his own ground, whose herds with milk, whose fields with bread, whose flocks supply him with attire, whose trees in summer yield him shade, in winter fire. Blessed who can unconcernedly find hours, days, years slide soft away, in health of body, peace of mind, quiet by day. Sound sleep by night, study and ease together mixed, sweet recreation, and innocence which most does please with meditation. Thus let me live, unseen, unknown, thus unlamented let me die, steal from the world and not a stone tell where I lie. Moving on to the explanation part of this poem, we see that in the first part of the poem, he talks about the man who is happy who gets to live in his native ground and gets to live in the place that he is born and also inherits the place from his ancestral property, and he also gets to live in a place where it is self-sustained. Okay, his herds, his cattle provide him with milk, and he has large fields of wheat, and that makes plenty of bread for him, and his flocks of sheep provide him with clothes, provide him with attire. Okay, and he also has a lot of trees around his home where it gives him shade during summer, and during winter they turn into firewood and keep him warm. And in the third stanza, he talks about the blessed man. Blessed is the man who spends his day without any concern. He speaks about how a man is a blessed man who finds his days, hours, and months and years roll by without any concern. And it's just not without concern, but in full peace of mind and body, with good health, with good physical and mental health. Okay. And he also gets to spend his days in study, leisure, and a life filled with innocence. A life filled with innocence and a balance of recreation and study, and a life which is filled with meditation as well. And finally, in the last stanza, he sums up saying that he would like to live such a life, okay, unknown, unseen, and such an anonymous life with so much of happiness and contentment. And when he dies, there is not going to be lamentations. There are not going to be any regrets that he could have done this, he could have done that. And there are not going to be people crying over his grave because he doesn't want anyone to know where his dead remains are going to be buried. And Pope sums up saying that he would like to live such a life filled with happiness and contentment, and leaving this world, not even a stone would know where his deadly remains would be buried. Okay. Moving on to the themes that you find in this poem is that Pope is talking about a self-sustained life. Okay, if you happen to notice, Pope is taking care of, talking about the basic needs a man can have in his life: food, shelter, and a little bit more on that. He talks about, the needs of the mind, that is, study, recreation. Um, the life that he is talking about is a perfect life of a well balanced between his mental needs and physical needs, and all is met with all the resources that he has. It's a perfect self sustained life that he is talking about, and independent and content living. Okay, there is a difference between happiness and contentment. Contentment is the utmost ultimate happiness a man can have. Happiness is only momentary, but contentment is lifelong. So he's talking about the lifelong contentment that he desires to have, and his idea of peace and happiness in old age. Many a times we have old people who are filled with regrets of, they could have done this, they could have done that. But Pope is talking about one such life where the old age would have no trouble or no regrets and no sorrow filled past, nothing of that sort, but only peace and happiness filled in the mind. And um, you have to make note that Pope is not talking about a lonely life. He just wants to live in solitude, okay? And alone, but not lonely. It is a choice. By choice, he wants to lead a life alone, but not a lonely life, okay? And it is something, the solitary life is something that we really need in these present times of confinement and quarantine. Okay. And we also notice that Pope does not want to conform to the society's expectations of how a man should live. That is, a man should be a social animal. He should, take part in community services, community gatherings, help out his fellow human beings. All that is good, but a man should be content within himself first, right? And Pope is not talking about I would do this service to the humanity, but he is talking about the self service that he would do for himself, finding peace and joy in whatever he does, right? That's something that is non-conforming to the aspects or the expectations of the society. And the rhyming scheme that you would find in this poem is A B A B. Just look at the poem, you would find out. The rhyme scheme is A B A B. Okay, that's it, and thank you for watching this video. And please, go through the poem again to get started. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Bye.